Hello everybody, so here is the final video to our series. This is going to be how to edge your earrings, and the type of edging that I'm going to show you all how to do is peacot edging. And yeah, you can definitely play around with different kinds of beads and find what you like best. This is the most basic type of edging for me anyways, that I like to use. So we're going to be doing peacot edging for this earring here. My son helps me out with my YouTube videos, and he told me that only 7% of people who are watching my videos are subscribed. So I'd like to take this time to remind you all to please like and subscribe to my channel. If you're enjoying these videos, we definitely have a lot more to come. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the edging for this earring. So if you're just tuning in on this video, this is a series of videos. I believe this is video number 3. And in the other video, in the first video, I go through in detail about what supplies, what type of thread, what type of needles that I'm using. So if anybody is planning on asking me those questions, I really recommend you checking out video 1 of my starter kits. So I am just creating a knot at the end of my thread here. For different types of edging, you might want to use something called fireline. I've not included that in the kits. I don't use it for basic edging, but for peacot edging, there's more, different styles of edging you can use. So what I'm going to do here is, it doesn't matter where you're starting. Wherever you're starting is wherever you're going to end your edging. I usually just start on this. Actually, I'm going to start right before the hook, before that glue dries. Sometimes it can make it hard for you to pass your needle through once the super glue dries over there. So we'll start right before then. So we're going to be going this way. So I just pushed my needle down from the top of the beadwork to the back of the beadwork. So you're coming out at the back. I'm going to edge it in gold beads. So I've just attached 1 bead. So with this type of edging, it's going to be the same with, adding 2 beads every time, with the exception of the first and the last bead. So with the first bead, you're just adding 1 bead. You've added 1 bead to the needle, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go from the top of the beadwork to the back. Everybody does it differently. I see that some artists go from the back to the front, but for me, this is what I do, and this is what works for me. So I went a little bit fast there. I didn't explain it. So you add your bead on, and then you come up from the bottom of the bead and you push your needle through so that you're coming out of the bead, and it helps it stand up straight. And then it's also so that your beadwork carries on from where you put your last bead in. So the first bead and the last bead are the only ones that are different from what you're going to be doing the whole way around. Usually you're going to be adding on 2 beads at a time, but the first and the last bead, you're just adding 1. So I had some excess thread. I'm going to burn it. We want our beadwork to look sharp. So that is the first bead. And then every other time you're going to be adding 2 beads on. So I've got my 2 beads, and you're going to go from the front to the back. You go maybe 1 bead widths apart, and you're pushing down. You're going to come back out through the back of the beadwork, and then you've got your 2 beads. So it's going to come looking like that with the 1 bead sticking out. Then what you're going to do, the same with the first bead that you laid down, just the very last bead that you place, you're going to come up through the bottom of it and out through the top so that you can continue on. So that's how it should look coming out from that last bead. And again, you just add 2 beads from the front to the back. and then you go from the bottom of the last bead out, and then you add another 2 beads, and you go from the front to the back about a bead's width apart, and then you're coming from the bottom of the last bead, you pull your thread through. So it makes it look really nice and sharp. It's a nice way to finish your earring. So again, 1 bead widths apart, I've added 2 beads on from the front to the back. And then you come up through the last bead. From the front to the back, and then coming up through that last bead from the front to the back, and then coming up through the last bead. Add your 2 beads on from the front to the back, about a bead's width apart, and then you're coming up through the last bead. And as I said before, it's helpful to see the process, so I recommend watching the video through and really ingraining the process in your mind. So when you're doing it, it's not difficult and you remember all the steps. So with this earring, I'm just doing gold for the edging. You can do a couple different colors, or you can do all different colors. You can do whatever you want, really. Remembering that the first bead that you add on is going to be the bead that sticks up. So this is the first bead, and that's the second bead that you add on as you're going along. I have a lot of different ways that I do edging for beadwork. So I use a lot of bigger beads with my edging, and I do different styles. Sometimes I use bugle beads and they look really nice. There's a type of edging called Peacot Edging. Oh, sorry, not Peacot Edging. That's the edging that we're doing right now. Panzer Edging. It's called the Panzer Stitch Edging. That one comes from Coutine Creations, and she's on Facebook. She has a tutorial. I actually never watched her tutorial, but I've seen her beadwork, and I've seen other people doing the Panzer stitch technique, and I tried doing it, and I don't know if I'm doing it the same way that she does it. She does have a tutorial out, and I'll definitely be doing more tutorials with, you know, different various types of edging. So stay tuned for that as well. And for this type of edging, what's really, you know, the trick to making it look really nice and uniform all the way around is having really good consistency about, you know, the width apart that you're laying the beads. So if you lay them too far apart, then that one bead in the middle won't stick out as high. And then if you're laying them too close, they can start to look bunched up. So, you know, with practice, you'll get really good at your consistency, and definitely be patient with yourself. You know, beading is, you know, it's a learning process, and you're not going to be an expert when you first start out. And understanding that, you know, part of being great at anything is you have to suck at it first. So, you know, with that, you might have a hard time and it might look super bunchy, but keep going, because, you know, you're only getting better with As much as you put into it, as much as you're going to get out of it. So if you put a lot of time into practicing this art, then you can really take off with it. And there is a saying that you take care of your beads and your beads will take care of you. And in my life, that's definitely become the reality. Beading is really good medicine. Another thing I've learned about beading is, energy is very important. So whatever kind of energy that you have during the time that you're putting your beadwork together is going into your beadwork. So your spirit and your energy, your beadwork is an extension of you as a person. So it's always good to have a good heart and mind when you're doing this work. If you're feeling upset about something, if you're frustrated, to step away from it, because that energy will go into your beadwork. It can transfer into your beadwork. And so that's one of the teachings, that you'll learn over and over, having good feelings when you're doing beadwork, because you're putting your feelings into the beadwork. And so also keep in mind that I've been doing a lot of beadwork, and so when you're doing your beadwork, it'll take you some time to get through this and to learn how to do it, and to understand that it takes time. And it might look easy on the video, and I'm not saying that it's going to be very, very hard, but don't have a really high expectation for being able to do it really fast. It's a learning process, so take your time. And if you're starting to feel frustrated, just step away from it for a little bit. Take a break, go have something to eat, and then come back when you have, when that frustration has left you and you feel better again. So I'm just almost getting up to the start and the end, and I will show you. So as I mentioned before, that you're adding 2 beads on every time, with the exception of the first and the last bead. So the first bead, you just add 1 bead, and then you add 2 beads on after that. And the last bead, you're only adding 1 bead on as well. So I'll show you how that finishes off in a second here. We're just coming up to the very end and the beginning of our beadwork. So I can probably just end it right here. So there's a little gap here, and this is our first bead. And what we're going to do is we're going to add just one single bead on, and then you're going to go down through the very first bead that you laid. So you've added a bead on, and then you're going to take your needle and you're going to go through from the top down the first bead that you laid down, and then your bead falls into place between that gap, and it looks, you know, it's all the same all the way around. So then you're going to push your needle from the front of the beadwork to the very back, and then your thread is going to come out there. And what I do, again, just like with the rest of it, is I just cut it and then you burn it so that it doesn't pull through. So now we have finished one side of an earring. And again, I'll do a separate video to show how to attach the post. That's how you attach that piece that you're going to add the hook to. So the hooks that I'm going to be including into, you know, the starter kits are these hooks. And so I'll just show you how you would attach it. I'm going to take pliers. You know, I'm probably just going to add, yeah. You're going to need to get some pliers. Okay. Sorry, my hands are a little bit shaky here. I'm hungry. You're going to pull this that way to open it up. So there's a space there now that you can put your jump ring through, and then you close it up again, and you've got your hook attached. So that is how you attach the hook. Actually, I'm not going to use this type of hook. I'm going to use a kidney hook, but when you're starting out, I'm just including these hooks in the starter kits. This is probably the hook that I'm going to attach, or a gold one. So thank you everybody for watching, and I hope everybody enjoyed the video, that it was helpful, and enjoy those starter kits. I will definitely be doing starter kits over and over and over again. So, you know, keep posted on my group page on Facebook, Cheyenne Spirit Creations. I'm also on Instagram at Cheyenne Spirit Creations, and I have TikTok, Cheyenne Spirit Creations. So yakyukosai, thank you very much. And I can't wait to see everybody's beadwork. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Bye everybody.